Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about writing equations as functions. And remember, we learned yesterday that functions are defined as every x has exactly one y. So we can say that functions can also be represented by an equation, which is also known as a rule. The equation will generate ordered pairs. By taking an input value, and remember input is the x value, and that results in a certain output. Remember the output is your y value. Also remember the graph of an equation is a set of all of its ordered pairs, which is often forms either a line or a curve. So an example of a function, you can always think of a function like a machine that takes an x value and puts it into the machine, and then it always puts out a y value. The x value is called the independent variable. Now, I know you guys have heard this in science class at the beginning of the year. The y value is called the dependent variable because it's the value that will depend upon the value of x. So in order to graph functions by using a table, you could pick any value for x, and what you're going to do is plug it into the equation in order to find out what the y value is. So for instance, this -5 is what the x is. So if I take that x and I change it into a -5, and then I add 4 to it, that gives me -1. So that is what the y value is -1. So then the next one, this -4. So if I have y equals, instead of writing an x, I'm going to write -4 plus 4. Now, -4 plus 4 is 0. So they're saying y is equal to 0 when x equals -4. The next one would be -2. So if I take y equals, instead of writing an x, I'm going to write a -2. And remember, every single time I plug in a value for x, I'm always using parentheses. So -2 plus 4, -2 plus 4 is +2. So y is equal to 2. And so I'm going to write that 2 in that column directly across from that -2. The last one I want to try is x is 0. So y equals 0 plus 4, and 0 plus 4 is 4. So they're saying that the y is 4. What this just did is gave you ordered pairs. Those ordered pairs you're going to plot on this graph. So my x is -5, so I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left, and then down 1. I'm going to plot that point there. The next one is -4, 0. So I go to the left -4, and I do not move up and down at all. And then it's -2, so go to the left -2 and up to +2. And then 0, 4. So I'm not going to go left or right at all. I'm just going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. Once I have that, because it is an equation, I'm going to use this piece of paper. I'm going to connect all of my points with a straight line, and you probably should be using a ruler. I just don't have one here at the house. And then my arrows on the end of my lines with my arrows filled in, because that's showing that it's going on forever and ever. Now that may seem like a lot of work to you guys. However, we now have Desmos, and Desmos does a lot of stuff for us. So what I want you guys to go ahead and get used to doing is using Desmos. You're going to type in this equation right here. So y equals 3/4, and I got to click out. Then I put my x value minus 2. Okay, from there, you're going to hit the settings wheel that's right here. And see how it comes up as a table right here? You're going to click on that table, and it automatically creates a table for you. Now, it will always go from -2 to 2. They give you specific values that they want you to have. So I'm just going to click down here on this 2, and I'm just going to hit my delete button until I get up here to the top. Then I'm going to type in these exact values that they want. So -4, 0, 4, and then 8. So it gives me what those values are. So that takes out all of this extra math here, and it just gives them to you. So that's kind of nice and a huge time saver. So I'm going to write down this table: -4, -5, 0, -2, 4, 1, and 8, 4. Now, something I want to point out, well, this one, you can see the points really easily on here, okay? But say you can't see them. If you look at this little magnifying glass down here in the lower left-hand corner, if you click on that, it will zoom fit your graph to where you can actually see all of your points on it, which will come in very handy. It also helps you figure out where each point is kind of located, but be very careful because right now my graph is scaled to go up by 2s, but my graph on my paper is scaled to go up by 1s. So just be very careful. -4, so that means I'm going to go to the left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to go down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0, -2, 4, up 1, and then 8 is running off of the graph. So these are the only ones that I can actually plot. So I'm going to go ahead and use my piece of paper instead of my ruler and connect my points. And again, I'm going to draw an arrow on both sides and fill in that arrow. Guys, if you don't fill in that arrow, they're going to be wrong. All right, next one. Again, same process, and I'm going to go ahead and clear out my Desmos. And then I'm just going to go ahead and hit the home button up here so it goes back to a scale of 1. And I'm going to type in y equals 3x. I'm going to hit my settings wheel. Then I'm going to hit my table. And again, it gives me all of this data. So it says -1, or -2, -1, 0, 1. It doesn't want us to have that 2, so I'm just going to get rid of it so it doesn't confuse us. So this time we didn't really have to change too much of anything, but I just have to write it in now. So -2 is partnered with -6. That tells me I need to go to the left 2 and down 6. And then I'll plot my point there. -1 is partnered with -3. So I'm going to go to the left 1 and then down 1, 2, 3. 0 is partnered with 0, so that's the origin. So I'm going to plot my point there. And then 1 is partnered with 3. So I'm going to go to the right 1 and up 1, 2, 3. Then I can connect my points with a straight edge. And you should not just try to draw it yourself. You need to actually have a very straight line, and it needs to be very accurate. All right. I'm going to, I am going to do this one. All right. So I'm going to clear it out again. I'm going to start on this one where it says y equals -3/2. And then you got to click out of that and put an X. And then you're going to do +2. Okay. Then click your settings wheel, go to your chart, and notice this time it's -2024. So the reason why they're not giving you those odd numbers is because notice it's a decimal, and we don't like to graph decimals. -2, 0, 2, and then just type the 4, and it automatically calculates it for you. So we have -2 is partnered with 5. So I'm going to go to the left 2 and up 5. 0 is partnered with 2, so I'm just going to go up 2. 2 is partnered with -1. I'm going to go over 2 and down 1. And then 4 is partnered with -4. So I'm going to go over 4 and down 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, you're going to see, oops, that's why you use the straight edge, there, that the lines do connect, or the points, I'm sorry, do connect with a straight line. And notice that this time we had a negative here, and it changed the direction of the line. So that's something that is coming up on being able to recognize, but I just wanted to point it out for a second. I am going to go ahead and skip numbers 5 and 6 just for time purposes. And then I'm going to talk about 7 through 14 here. And it says, given the function and domain, find the range values. Remember, domain is a fancy word for saying X values. They're giving us the equation, and they're giving us the X values. So if you make a table, XY table, they're telling us we're going to do 4, 6, and 8. We need to find out what the range is, what those Y values are, okay? So if I type this in, this can be super quick and easy for you. It's going to be the same way as if we were graphing, except minus the graph. So I'm going to type Y equals X minus 5. And then I'm going to create a table, but in my table, I need these specific values. So I'm just going to delete all these. So I need 4, I need 6, and I need 8. So then it gives me those values. -1 partnered with 4. 1 is partnered with 6, and 3 was partnered with that 8 value. There you go. Now it's asking to find the range. Now remember, when you're writing range down, you have to give me those curly braces. So -1, 1, 3, and then you close that curly brace. All right. Now remember, if they give you the same number, if it comes up the same number in here, it would not be wrote down twice when we write the set notation. And I gave the example today in class about having Mountain Dew. I might have 48 Mountain Dews to sell, but on the menu, I wouldn't put 48 Mountain Dews. I would just write Mountain Dew because it's a list. And that's all that you're doing is writing a list of your Y values. All right, so looking at number 9 here, it's asking for specific X values, which is the domain values. So I'm going to do X and then Y, -2, 3, and 5. And then I'm going to go ahead and type it in Desmos. So I have Y equals 4 minus X, not 4 minus Y, 4 minus X. And then I'm going to create a table. And I want -2, and then I want the number 3 and the number 5, and I don't want any of the rest of these numbers. So I just delete them. Now, -2 is partnered with 6, 3 is partnered with 1, and 5 is partnered with -1. Now, again, how they get that. So just so you know how to do the math behind this. If I typed in, or if I wrote down Y equals 4 minus your X value, and in this case, the X value is -2. 4 minus -2, that's a +6. And that's what we got here. So then if I try again, Y equals 4 minus my X value, which was a +3. 4 take away 3 is 1. That's what my Y value was. So that's how they're getting these, that's how they're actually doing the math behind it. 4 minus my X value was 5. and that's how you get -1. So this is the math behind it, but we do know that we can just use the calculator. So we're going to write range, and that's going to be equal to, using your braces, and that's going to be 6, 1, -1, and close your curly brace. All right, the last one that I'm going to do is going to be number 11, because I think you're going to get the hint after this if you don't already have it. So I'm going to do X and then Y. They give me, again, the domain. So I'm going to put it under the X column, -4, 0, and 6. So I'm going to take it to decimals. Excuse me. Y equals 7 minus 1/2. And then my X is on the outside of that 1/2, so I had to click out. Then I'm going to create a table. And I'm just going to take out all of these values, make it easier. The X was -4, then 0, and then 6. So it gives me -4 is partnered with a 9, 0 is partnered with a 7, and 6 is partnered with a 4. So when I list out my range is 9, 7, 4. All right, so that finishes up the lesson for today. You will have a worksheet that looks very similar to these notes, and you'll need to get that done and turned in before the end of the day. I hope you have a great day. Bye.